in regards to dream experiences and stuff, a lot of the ones that I have tend to centre around sort of apocalyptic type scenarios. I have quite a few where I'm with various groups of survivors in various situations, sort of thing, and it's obviously in some sort of aftermath of some great catastrophe or other. That seems to be the most common one that I have.
You're seeing cause and effect. Okay, so they create something, and what you're seeing is kind of like the timeline of cause and effect, the end result. That's prophecy. Okay, so, and they create prophecy too. They've created all the prophecies. Like people, look to the Bible. They created the reptilians, the ancient astronauts. They created the Bible and the God thing and the worshiping and all this stuff for people to become slaves. And so they created the prophecies too. They put all these things in there. It's a business plan. The Bible is really a business plan. It is part of their business plan, one of the many parts. And that's why they created the business world to doing business and the monetary system. See, over here, like the American Indians and the indigenous people, they didn't have any of this nonsense. They didn't have standing armies. They didn't have nuclear weapons. They didn't have a business plan. They were looking at nature and the natural environment, learning from that, and using their intuition. They didn't do this nonsense that we're into today. And we don't need this technology. We don't need any of it, realistically, because just our very beings and recognizing our real awareness supersedes all of that. You don't need anything, just like the birds. They don't need a car. They don't need a cell phone. They're fine. And they're struggling to survive too because of what the unaware humans are doing, the know-it-alls of the world who have been educated by a militarized, controlling system, and to where you get these degrees and diplomas, and then you go work for the system, and then you help destroy it. Yeah, that's the basic scenario. So, but it's the advantage is that it should shock you enough to wake you up for you to want to see more, and there is a whole lot more, and so that's the new presentation, and as you really start to see it, what's going on. So the life and the real guides, as you do the new you, that becomes the real connection. So you're showing that you want to learn and see more, so they're going to give you little by little what it is that you need to see more from your position. Everybody's a little different. And so you put that together the best you can, but this is a process that's going to take you the rest of your life and possibly into future lives or whatever. It just depends upon where you're going and how you decide to earn your way through this. It's like anything. So it's just like going to college. You decide the courses, you decide how long it's going to take, etc., to go through the process. And so now you're into the bigger picture, but you have this opportunity. It's up to you to decide how you're going to deal with it and what you're going to do. Yes.
Yeah, when I've been having my dream experiences, I haven't been aware of actually. I don't think I've actually seen the guides as such, but I'm fairly certain they've been around, sort of thing, sort of like lurking in the background, and yeah.
Well, that's what they do. They don't lurk, but they. No, just kidding. Yeah. They're there. They see everything. Yeah, you can eventually have that view too. But they see everything. It's very simple, really. Creation is very simple, but at the same time, it's very complex. It's like your car. It's a very simple thing. You just turn it on, put it in drive, go. It's very simple. But yet the complexity of how it's, created and produced and what the makeup of it is very complex, to get to that point. And so for you to have this, overall view, or called total awareness or whatever, and that is endless itself. There's always more steps to it. You go through a lot of complexity to figure it out because there's so much to you and you've been through so much. And, you need to go through creation because it provides you, an idea of, of a particular in life so that eventually you can recognize the true reality life is. That's the whole idea. So just like going through college and whatever, You're there to learn certain things so that when you get out into the so-called real world, that you're able and you're capable. So, college is one thing, but then eventually you leave college and you get into the real world. Well, this is like creation. You're in creation. It's like a big college course and high school and college course. And then eventually you are able to step into the real universe, is what I call just defining these things in a particular, the isness life is. So that you have a bigger view and eventually you see. But yes, they're there. If you're doing the new you, they're there, and they will come disguised many times. They might be a friend or somebody on the street, and many times it could be your mom or your dad. You see, because they do it very friendly. They don't shock you. They just bring it in very subtle. And it's the subtleness, because many times people are looking for a big bang or lightning bolts from the sky or the Red Sea parting or whatever. And these are fun stories, and these things did happen, but and things will happen, but not always. But most of the time, it's very subtle. It's kind of like when you're sitting in school and the teacher's talking and you're doing your assignment. It's a very casual thing. But yes, they're there. That's why you're having the experiences. And pay attention the best you can. Now, you're not going to get it all. Okay, you're going to get certain parts because the physical part of yourself can only take so much. It's like a computer with a certain amount of capacity, and the real you is taking in a whole lot more, and it's little by little distributing it. So again, it's like when you go out there into the world and you're going through your experiences every day, you're taking in a lot. And when you come back home, you're many times exhausted because you can only define so much of it because you're taking in a lot. And especially with the world today, it's huge. And the challenge is what's taking place with this world, and also at the same time figuring out what else there is besides being trapped and tap-lined in this matrix. So, yeah, it's a lot. This is a dynamic age we're in.
Okay, so if you in this lifetime, for example, were unsuccessful in positioning yourself well enough that when you die you'd be able to go into the real universes, when you were reincarnated again, would you pick up from where you left off, or would you have to start all over again?
You always have all the experiences that you've ever had with you. But of course, again, it's like your computer. You have all those files and stuff in there, but can you remember them all? Can you relate to them all? The real you can, but the personal you, no. So no one really starts over, except that when you take on a new body and mind, just like this lifetime, look at just this lifetime, you start over again in the personal sense, but the real you has all the experiences. And so each lifetime, you're going through this recognition process, trying to recognize, who you really are. And so you've created the personal self to try and do that. So the personal self, you're constantly creating a new personal self to try and do that. It's kind of like a race car driver. You create this car, you try to be the fastest car around as an example, and you usually crash it because they usually all crash. And then what do? You make another one, or even if you don't crash, you make a new one that's faster, right? So you're making this vehicle, this body each time that's going to, go through these experiences. It's taking all the grunts, it's taking all the beatings. It's like a prize fighter out there. And through that, you're gaining experiences to where eventually you start to recognize in particular ways who you really are, So you're just really a viewpoint with the whole of life and the real universes. And, you're a drop in the sea. And through this process, it's very interesting how the isness set this up, this creation process. You are shocked enough in this personal state with all the feelings and ideas and attitudes, etc., relationships, whatever they are, okay, that you go through, and adventures, to where eventually you start to recognize yourself. It's an amazing process. Life is awesome, but it's always by choice. It's, this is where, again, I'm giving you these viewpoints that the the system controllers, okay, they created the systems of politics, religion, all these things, and science and education, and into all the spiritual paths today, because many of them were from some of the guides in the past, but they're all distorted now, and it doesn't really matter. And so these things have been created of a particular for you to be mind framed to agree to them so they can keep you in creation. And it is your challenge to see through them, etc. Because we don't have just the natural environment anymore. Like the cowboy and Indian days, we've got all this, the buildings and the jobs and the complexity and, Wi-Fi and microwaves and just everything, pharmaceuticals and GMO. And so now it's a bigger challenge. So, we've all contributed to this creation in our own way, whether we created something or we agree to it. And so now your challenge is to recognize that. And so, yeah. And here we are right now. You're at this very moment. Everything that you've experienced is a culmination. So all your experiences, no, you have them. But it's up to you how you recognize them and what you'll do with them, you see. That's always your choice, and how you proceed with your life. This is how amazing life is. And you can do whatever you want. You have the free will to do it. Even though the systems try and restrict you, you can still do whatever you want, just like they do. Anybody can. But the big picture is that you're here. That's why you came here, to recognize the true reality. But in the meantime, you're in all this confusion. And now the personal self also has the task to figure that out too, and then eventually get to your real awareness. But after you start to get it, start to see how it works more than just the literal mind, it's kind of cool, because it's a better survival rate here. But you don't have to go into future lifetimes, because really there is no death. It's just a passing over. You just let the body go. You just pass over. And if you feel within yourself, the real you will know that if it knows more lifetimes or not, or it will proceed from there, from the astral or somewhere in the in creation. It'll proceed from there. So it's not really a matter of not having future lifetimes. It's really, the best part is that when you recognize the nowness life is, the real nowness, not just now that Eckhart Tolle talks about, because he's not aware of the real universes. He's talking about creation. But the real nowness life is, well, everything is there right now. You don't have to go anywhere. And all of a sudden, there's no more karma or future lifetimes or any lifetimes at all. You become totally aware like the real guide. So this is the best opportunity that this world has ever had, because we've went through all the spiritual paths and everything, and I've went through these things too as reminders. But now you have this opportunity to see it all, and how you pursue it is up to you. This becomes your great adventure. You decide your adventure, and this is why the real guys stick together, and I just simply do what they do, and I stick with them, and they back me. And so what we're doing here on the earth is we're doing our projects, etc., because it helps focus. And Val and Kelsey are here, and they've been at this a while. And yeah, it's a challenge, but through that challenge, you wake up. You see? So, yes, go ahead.